Hi, I'm Dylighted, and today I want to take a look at a placement strategy that I call when in doubt, place it out. It's simple. When in doubt and you don't know what to do, you place everyone else's settlements out for them, so then you know what's left. So, let's dive right into this. When I was placing on this board and I was taking a long time for my first spot, I was told by one of the players, "Look, you're retarded if you don't take the 5-8-10. And well, I didn't want to look retarded, so I was very tempted to place on the 5-8-10. But before I made any rash decision, I wanted to use my placement strategy. When in doubt, place it out. First of all, I want to go over a few restrictions with this strategy. This strategy only works when you're playing with stronger players who know what they're doing, because you can't really predict where bad players are going to go. It's a lot harder to guess where they go, and if they make a mistake, that'll change everything up. This is a better strategy if you use it in tournaments or with strong players. This is why I emphasize the importance of probing questions, to gauge your opponent's skill level. So, back to this board. On this board, you notice one thing, that there's 3 ore spots, and they're all along the coast. That means first, second, and third position, if they're all good players, they should be taking the ore spots. As alluded to earlier, one of the players is saying the 5-8-10 ore spot is definitely the best out of all of them. Now, let's examine this. If I place in the 5-8-10, I get the strongest brick, and brick's sort of rare on this board since someone's going to place the 8-3-4, and then everyone else is stuck with the 11 brick. Something else I like about the 5-8-10 is because you're pretty much guaranteed to get the 3-1 port and you can double up on your ore. However, the main issue with the 5-8-10 is the fact that you're missing wheat. So let's go ahead and figure out if you're going to get locked out of wheat or not. As the famous Catan rule says, no wheat equals defeat. So let's try and figure out if you get locked out of wheat or not if you place in the 5-8-10. So if I place in the 5-8-10, it's pretty obvious that 2 other people are going to place in the ore spots. So that's a 5-9-10, and then that's the 8-3-4, or the 8-4-10. Since those 2 placements are figured out, we can move on to 4th position. Now, 4th position, being locked out of ore, they're forced to take the brick, so I know for sure that they will be placing on the 8-3-4. Now, we have to look at what spot goes best with the 8-3-4. Since you have high brick, you also want high wood. So that means they're probably going to be placing on the 6-9-3, or maybe the 6-5-11. The 6-9-3 gets them the sheep access, and the 6-5-11 is strong, but doesn't give them any sheep access, and they already have wheat. So as 4th position, I think it would be reasonable if they went on the 8-3-4 and the 6-9-3. So now, let's go back to 3rd position, gray. Now, where would they place? I think it depends a little bit. If they place on the 8-4-10, that means they're going to want the 9-10-11. But if they place on the 8-3-4, that means they're going to be placing on the 5-6-11. So, I know one of those spots are going to be taken. Now we have to place the 2nd position from the 5-9-10. They're either going to take the 9-10-11, or they're going to take 5-6-11. So I know whatever gray, 3rd position, doesn't take, 2nd position is going to take. So where does that leave me if I place in the 5-8-10? Well, that puts me in a position where I'm locked out of wheat. But normally, placing in the 5-8-10 seems like a strong killer play. But on this board, it's actually a trap if you do so. So I end up using my strategy to place it out and reason why the 5-8-10 is not the correct first pick, and look like a retard to blue. Sorry, blue. So, since the 5-8-10 isn't the first correct pick, let's see which one is between the 2 ores. Is it the 5-9-10, or is it the 8-3-4/8-4-10? So, once again, let's do my placement strategy of when in doubt, place it out. This time, I'm going to be placing the 5-9-10. Where will 2nd position take? The 5-8-10. 3rd position will take the 8-4-3/8-4-10. And 4th position will take the same things. 6-9-3, 8-4-3. Now it rotates back to 3rd position. They take the 9-10-11, or the 5-6-11, and then 2nd position takes whatever they leave out. My only strong option now is the 6-11-12. So if I go into 6-11-12, I'm going to be locked out of sheep, but I'm sort of okay with this since I have strong wood and I'm headed towards a wood port. This also gets me a free road and a starting sheep so I can place on the wood port. So now I figured out what happened if I place in the 5-9-10. Now let's go ahead and figure out the last placement of the 8 ore. So if I decide to place somewhere on the 8 ore, the first thing I have to figure out is, do I want to place on the 8-3-4 or the 8-4-10? So since I've already figured out the placements for other people, it'll be easy for me to figure everything out one more time. So if I place in the 8-3-4, someone goes in the 8-5-10, then someone goes in the 5-9-10, the 8-3-4, the 6-9-3, 9-10-11, or 9-4-11, and the 5-6-11. And then I'm stuck with, once again, the 6-12-11. Now in 1st position, I think it's pretty clear and safe to say, wherever you place on one of these ore spots, your last spot is going to be the 6-12-11. Knowing that the 6-11-12 is going to be my last placement, if I place in the 8 ore, I know that the 8-3-4 is now more superior than the 8-4-10. Because my last spot I'm going to be getting low sheep, so To compensate for that, I'd rather get on the 3 sheep instead of being stuck with the 12 sheep the entire game. So now we have this figured out. Let's compare the 8-3-4 placements with the 5-9-10 placements. If I place on the 8-3-4 with the 6-12-11, I think I have a strong chance of winning this game. I have strong or wheat sheep with all 5 resources, and I'm going to be getting a useful wood port, and I can be getting a useful 3-1 port. I'm going against 2 other people who also have strong or wheat sheep, and they can also go for largest army too. And since I'm across the island, it's going to be sort of annoying to try and connect and go for long road. I don't think that's a really good option. So, let's go ahead and look at the 5-9-10 placement. If I go in the 5-9-10 placement, knowing that I'll go in the 6-11-12, this makes me lose my sheep, but I'm going to be able to convert all that wood into the sheep that I need. I think this is also a strong viable option. But let's see which option is better and why. I ended up choosing the 5-9-10 placement because of the proximity to each other. So what I realized on this board is that my first priority is going to be going to the wood port, and the second priority is going to be going on the wheat port, doubling my ore. And what I like about this situation is that I have an alternative win condition if I lose largest army, since I'm going against 2 other players who are going to have strong or wheat sheep. If I fail to get largest army, I'm also close enough to the connect to try to sneak behind and get longest road. I also like the 5-9-10 spot a little bit more, since once I upgrade the 5-9-10, it becomes a really killer spot. If a 5 rolls, I get wheat, which is great, since I have a wheat port, and in general you just need wheat. If a 9 rolls, that's also great, since I get more ore. And if a 10 rolls, awesome, wood port. That's a free card of my choice, it'll most likely be sheep. So I can play the or wheat sheep game and then go for largest army. So as red, I like the 5-9-10 better. So now I know the 5-9-10 is the better option for me. I have to figure out where I want to place my road. Even though for one of my lessons I said, you want to point your roads to the coast, you can't always just point it directly to the coast, because it's not always beneficial for you. In this case, since I placed everything out, I actually know that pointing it to the right is a better option, since I'm going to be getting on the wheat port and doubling on my ore. I also know that I'm not going to get much sheep, which makes the sheep port useless, and that's why I point my road to the right. So let's go ahead and see what everyone did to see how these placements played out. So in first position, I took the 5-9-10 and I pointed my road to the right. In second position, I think it's an easy choice to place on the 5-8-10 and point your road upwards, knowing you're going to get wheat. And then now in third position, you have the choice of placing on the 8-4-10 and the 8-3-4. So one more time, when in doubt, place it out. So if you place in the 8-3-4, the same things happen. Blue places the 8-3-4, 6-9-3. Then you are going to get on the 5-6-11. Then orange is going to be going on the 9-4-11 since they need wheat. And then I am going to go on the 6-12-11. Now let's see what happens if you go on the 8-4-10 in third position. Fourth position goes in the same placements. Then you have to take the 9-10-11, and orange has to take the 5-6-11. Now let's just compare these positions. If you take the 8-4-10, you're going to be getting the 9-10-11, and that leaves orange getting the 5-6-11 and then the 5-8-10. They are crazy strong. Another issue of the 8-4-10 is the fact that blue has strong road building, and they can easily build in the 8-3. And the reason why this is sort of scary is because this endangers the 8 ore. Normally, there's not that big of an incentive to block the 8 ore when there's only one person on it. But if blue decides to build on the 8-3, getting them ore, then everyone's going to be putting the robber on the 8 ore. So gray ends up placing on the 8-4-10, which I think is a mistake. Now it's blue's turn to place, and they do exactly like what I thought, and they place on the 8-3-4 and the 6-9-3. And it's gray's turn now, and he places the 9-10-11. And then it's orange's turn, and he gets the 5-6-11, giving him a killer spot with a free road. And whenever 3 5s rolls, he gets a city. Then I, red, place in the 6-11-12. So, what are some lessons we can learn from this situation? I think the first obvious lesson is, when in doubt, place it out. If I didn't place everything out, then I might have taken the 5-8-10, getting myself locked out of wheat. And that would be a disaster. And if gray in third position placed everything out, he would be getting the 8-3-4 and the 5-6-11, which puts gray at a much stronger spot. Now, the second lesson we can learn from this situation is you can do settlement placement table talk. So, what do I mean by this? At the very beginning, well, blue called me stupid if I didn't place in the 5-8-10. And if I decided to listen to blue, then I instantly lose my game and get locked out of wheat. So what I'm trying to say is that people will try to use table talk, even during settlement placements, to influence your decision that could end up being a mistake. Now, you can also use table talk offensively too. Here's a good example. There's an amazing spot on the board, and the person placing before you is looking at that. But you decide to say, hey, you should place on this spot instead, because of this. And let's say they listen to you, and they decide to place on where you suggested. Now, since you're going right after them, you take the really strong spot, putting yourself in the stronger position and putting them in a weaker position. So you have to be able to recognize settlement placement table talk and also be able to use it to influence the game to get big rewards from it. Even though this tactic is really annoying, you don't have to use it, but it's very important to understand that it exists and also to understand when it's being used against you and how to fight against it. Once again, I value feedback. Please only like the video if you enjoyed it or learned something from it. Thank you for watching. I'm Dylighted, and I hope you learned something.